Hi, this is Jen Healy with the AYRx Yoga Swings. I am going to continue with some alignment principles that we went over from our last AYRx therapeutics training. And I thought it was really important to address the mind-body connection. So we talked about the 12 most important alignment principles for the body. Of course, there are more, but those alignment principles will help us not only come into greater health and wellness in our bodies, but it'll teach us how to use the swing correctly, so we're healing injuries and avoiding re-injuring ourselves or perpetuating more imbalance in the body. So with that conversation, I really wanted to tune in to the mind-body connection and talk to you about the 12 alignment principles for the mind, because our mindset and how we're approaching the body is just as important as the position of our spine, or the way we're holding our shoulders, or the way that our hips are aligned with our pelvis. So I wanted to go over these alignment principles and talk about, first of all, kinesiology. Kinesiology is a study of the body where they use muscle testing, and they have noticed that when you are testing the body for strength, if you tell the body a positive affirmation like "I can do it," the body gets strong, which I call like plugging in or having the circuitry. And if you say to the body, "I can't do it," or "I'm not good enough," or any of those negative mindsets, the body actually weakens and gets depleted and cannot hold like an arm up when it's tested. The same if they're testing for foods. If the food is good for you and you're holding it in your hand, then your arm will be strong. And then if it is actually an allergy or something that's toxic, your body will get weak. And this can be the same when we're making decisions. We can actually use our body pendulum or our body mapping to notice that if something is good for us or in alignment with our higher truth, then the body will move towards it like a yes. And if it's not good for us, we'll move away from it like a no and lean back. So we can start to actually test the body for whether something is true for us, whether it's good for us, and whether it's going to make our bodies strong. So I wanted to use the mind-body connection as the first alignment principle to remember that how we're treating the body, what we're saying to the body, what we're thinking and what we're feeling will affect the strength of the body. And that's just as important as stacking the bones. So that's the number one thing I wanted to talk about with the alignment principles, is the mind-body connection and how important it is to have a positive mindset, because our negative thoughts actually weaken the body matrix. I also wanted to talk to you, even though it's very cliche, about an attitude of gratitude. It is so powerful to say thank you and to share appreciation instead of focusing on what's not working, especially when learning something new. When you go into a new class or a training or any activity where it's the unknown, there's a natural propensity for anxiety or doubt or fear or any of those emotions to creep in. So it's super important that we remember to focus on positive aspects and have an attitude of gratitude when we're approaching something new, which means we say thank you body, thank you breath, thank you being, thank you for the swings, thank you for the teachings. We remember to say thank you. That actually works with the same principle of kinesiology, where you get an upliftment in your body, which is just as important as lifting our sternum. Right? And when we're looking down and we're feeling down, we get a depletion in the body. And when we're looking up and we're feeling up and appreciating, we actually get a lift in the body, or more buoyancy in the body. So as I keep developing this AYRx program, it's leading into the ACE program, AYCE, which is the coaching and empowerment that we can use for the swing and this vehicle of transformation. And these are the tools that are going to help us shift not only our mindset when we come to a practice like this, but how we're approaching our lives. So saying thank you, and these words are so powerful, an attitude of gratitude, so that we are getting in touch with what we can do and what we are grateful for. Focusing on the positive aspects, looking for the reasons to feel good. What is going right? What are you doing well? Right? What is working? Oh, well, I might have like a little bit of a knee injury, but my hips are feeling pretty good. Things like that. Like, give praise to your body. Your body is like a child, or, a little being that needs that kind of boosting and upliftment. And it's pretty amazing if we pay attention to our own thoughts and how we're talking about ourselves and how we're feeling about ourselves, and then wondering why it's not going well. Especially aches and pains in the body, they are a sign that there is some negative self-talk going on, right? It's like a depletion that's going on. And there's a whole body mapping that we can do, that I do with my clients, to understand what illness is showing up, what is the symptom, and what thought process is that related to? What is the overarching message and symbology that the body is trying to give you? So it's really important to listen to that as we move into this practice, because we all have limitations. We all have things that we're good at, and we all have things that are going to be challenging. And we want to pay attention to that. And when we start to shift it deliberately by focusing our attention, we get massive results. The body cooperates so much more. The body's like, oh, she's listening and she cares, he or she. So moving along, so positive aspects, and then the willingness to play. So I call the original practice aerial yoga play, because we want to, the play being the most important part, we want to explore and experience the body in a new way. That means come with a curiosity, come with this willingness to be open. So the next, these all lead one into another. It's like a conversation that I have with myself. Just my willingness to show up. Just showing up is a success, right? That's better than 90% of the people who don't even try at all. So you're here, you're trying the swing, you want to explore and experience the body in a new way. Otherwise, you would have chose something else that you already knew. So be curious, be open, have a beginner's mind. It is so important when you come to a new practice, even if you've been doing the swing for a while, like have it be a new day, have it be a new experience. We want to release the habit of judgment. It's just a habit, saying, oh, I can't do this, it's too hard, I don't feel like it. There's all kinds of stories we tell ourselves, so we want to check that. You're like, what story am I telling myself right now that's either leading to radiant health and feeling good, or is it leading to me feeling down, feeling heavy? So we want to release that habit of telling ourselves that we can't do something. I'm just following along here. I will put this in the description so you guys can read this over too. So we're creating with our words. Okay, that's why this is so important. We're actually creating what it is we want or what it is we don't want with what we're thinking about and what we're saying. Your wish is your command, is what one of my teachers have said. So take responsibility for what you're thinking and be very deliberate about what you focus on. If you focus on that you can't do it, then you can't. If you focus on you can do it, then you can. It really is that powerful and potent to remember how your words are creating and affecting your reality. So there's a practice that I do, and I like to create new habits, right? We've all been programmed to think negatively. We've all been swimming in this fear-based reality and conditioning. Some of us have been really lucky and have been super dosed with positivity, but most of us have been swimming in the same sea. So we need to retrain ourselves. And I do a lot of subconscious reprogramming in my own healing practice with my clients so that we can be more in charge and in control of what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing, and just choosing deliberately. Choice is one of the most powerful aspects that we have with our free will. So affirm, request, reinforce. I have this habit and I try. It's never perfect and that's okay, but I do the best I can. Affirm, request, reinforce. This is such a nice way to get out of the habit of focusing on the negative. So we affirm, we talk about what we want. Right? When we talk about what we want instead of what we don't want, we have a better chance of getting what we want, right? So affirm, request, reinforce. And then after we affirm what we want, we make a request. We make a request to our body. Okay, body, stick with this for 5 more minutes. Or, okay, like I need a break and I'm going to drink some water. And then you reinforce. You reinforce that you can have that you can do that. And this is not just, mumbo jumbo or foofy lala. This stuff really works. And so just give it a try. Even if it's challenging sometimes to focus the mind, we want to take that power back and we want to get in charge of what we're thinking. And we do have more control and awareness than we're actually practicing. So awareness of feelings is also really important. So you have a thought and it always generates a feeling, right? And so you have a thought like, I can't do this. And then just notice how that feels. Does that feel good? Right? And if you say, I can do it, and it feels better, then that's your signal from the universe saying, yeah, more of that. There's usually only two movements that we really have to focus on, and it boils down to yes, or no. So is like yeah, more of that. Is like no, not that. And so we can tell by the way we feel whether it's a or and if you say something to yourself and it doesn't feel good, it's an the body goes immediately. And if you say something that feels good, or if it feels good, it'll go more of that. So just focus, is it a or and we get back to the real basic and simple ways of looking at the body with this. So stop yourself from complaining. As soon as you start going down like a negative mindset or a negative path, because it is like a snowball, it will gain momentum. Get into the habit of stopping yourself before you start complaining, just by noticing the way it feels. Does it feel uplifting? Does it feel buoyant? Does it feel exuberant and exciting, or does it drain you? Right? We can feel that in our bodies, and when something is draining us or when something is fueling us and feeding us. And that is what we're doing with this swing, is we're creating an upliftment practice. We're giving our body some lift and levity. And in that, we also want to remember to bring our mind and our emotions with us. So the number one energy killer for the body matrix that I see, and the space around you, everyone around you, is when we're complaining, making excuses, defending, blaming, attacking, explaining. We often spend way too much time explaining things away, right? When all we have to do is focus on what it is that we want. We don't need to explain everything, right? The body gets drained from all of that. Sometimes it's helpful and necessary, and you have to follow your own internal guidance, but most of the energy will just be lost when we want to keep it concentrated, hone it in, focus it on what it is that we want. And then we want to shift our attention. So when we catch ourselves down like a negative road or a negative path, as quickly as possible, using our awareness and really being able to hone in our skills, we're going to shift our attention. We can change our perspective. You know, the whole practice of going upside down, I use my little mantras or tags for each pose, is to change our perspective. So we can shift directions, we can shift our attention at will when we practice it. If we haven't been practicing that, obviously it's going to be more difficult to, like a muscle, you know, it's like a spiritual muscle. It's going to be more difficult at first, but as you get into the habit of doing that, and it gets easier and easier, you're much more willing to shift attention when it doesn't feel good, or when you catch yourself going down a negative rant, a negative path. So shifting attention and focusing on what you want and what you can do as an outcome will give you tremendous results and more power. We're leveraging our power with the swing, and this is how we're going to be. It's kind of like a bank account, an energetic bank account. We're not going to be frivolous and drain our energetic bank accounts when we're in the swing. We're really going to focus our energy and be more aware of where those leaks are and clean them up. So last one is to treat yourself with compassion, with love, compassion, kindness, and understanding. Be gentle with yourself. Be easy about it. When something is difficult, be easy. So I use a lot of shifts in language with my empowerment coaching program, and I want to share that with you guys in the swing practice. If something is hard, soften. If something is difficult, be easy about it. Just do the opposite. It's called pivoting. Okay, so if you're finding it difficult, then go easy, right? If it's too hard, then soften. So we want to find its opposite and give the body exactly what it's asking for and what it's calling for by that cue and signal. So nothing is more important than the way you speak to yourself in terms of your performance, feeling good, and upliftment. Nothing is more important. Like, you can stack the bones all day, but if you're telling yourself that you can't do it, or you're not good enough, or you're doing it wrong, or any of those fear, doubt, and worry thoughts, you're going to collapse. You're not going to have any energy to get into those poses and do it well. And most importantly, have fun. I do like to emphasize the importance of play and increasing your fun factor when trying something new. So play with this and just try it out. It's okay if it doesn't go perfect every time and you catch yourself in one of those negative loops. Just remember that you can always change direction, that you can always make a different choice, and most importantly, all you have to do is your best. Just do your best. That's all you can do, and that's good enough. Thank you so much for listening. This is Jen Healy with the AYRx Yoga Swings and the Aerial Yoga Play program. You can find out more about my program at aerialyogarx.com, and I will post this cute little alignment principles for the mind-body connection in the description.